So if you'll notice here, somebody of us will be having, you can see, the ear is attached to the face like this. Suppose I'm just drawing. Somebody's, even most of you or me also, you can see, the ear is attached to the skin completely like this. Now, some of you might be have noticed, you'll be having an extra part which will be hanging freely to the down. Have you all noticed it? Like this, it will be there. Yes, please. All of you. So, this is what the two types of ears which we will be noticeable easily in our surroundings, like people. So most of the people in our surroundings, the earlobe is hanging. That is what is called as this one. I think you might be also check it, what you have. Hanging earlobe. And this is what we used to say, free earlobe, which is having a hanging part. You might be noticed. And some people you can see, earlobe is very closely attached to the side of the head. Directly it is attached to the head. And this is what we used to say, attached earlobe. So most of us were having a free earlobe only. You are having, anybody is having attached earlobe among you all? Or free earlobe? Not Mukesh, I am saying, just one of the example I am saying. Understand, Mukesh? Like that, so many things are there. Okay, so can anybody tell me? Yes, please. So you might be notice it also. So if you want to see the picture also, you can see basically. So now you can notice in this picture, all of you, just a minute. You can notice it here. This is what we used to say, free earlobe. This third picture is called as free earlobe. And this is what we used to say, attached earlobe. Have you noticed the difference? I want response. Yes, please. So we will be having, here you can see that. This is what we can say, free earlobe. We're having the extra like extension of this ear, which will be coming down. This is what we will say, most of us will be having like that only. There only the girls or boys, they will punch that earrings. So some people, they'll be having these free earlobes, and some people are having the attached earlobe. This is also one of the variations which we'll notice among the people. So if we take most people, they're having what one? Attached earlobe or free earlobes? Yes, please. Free earlobe. Most of the people are there having the free earlobes, and some of the people are having attached earlobe. These are the two variations basically we will find in human population. In ear, according to the year, the population has been like two categories, we'll say, free earlobe people and attached earlobe people. That is what variations we can see. So now, not only this, as we know, during sexual reproduction, variations are maximized or variations are minimum. Variations are always what? Maximized by a process of what reproduction? Sexual reproduction. Now, if we take, as we know, asexual reproduction, variations are very less. For example, they have given in our textbook is sugar cane. You all people knows sugar cane has been produced by sexual or asexual reproduction. I want response. Yes, please. Asexual reproduction. So that is why if you go to, you might be having, suppose Elmokil is having agricultural land he used to cultivate, and sometimes you can see somebody of you are having also farming. So as we know, Tamil Nadu is one of the largest sugarcane producing state. You might be noticed as it is sugarcane is producing by asexual reproduction. We will cut the sugarcane which is having a eye-like structures. That is what it will germinate into a new plant. If you will take the sugarcane, at each particular distance, it will be having the eyes. That is what a germinating parts where a new plants will be growing. So these sugarcane plants, if you notice changes or variations, we can notice very, very little variations among the one generation of sugarcane to the next generation. So all the sugarcane plants almost looks like same. They will never notice like one sugarcane is looks like some other shape or some other thing. But if we take animals, including the human beings, which reproduce by the process of sexual reproduction, we will notice the large number of variations always. So why it is happening? Because in two human beings looks like they are even, if you notice, the variations are always necessity for organic evolution. That is what you might be see. Human evolution, we will say we have been came from chimpanzees. It has been evolution is taking place. So these variations are not taking place. Till today, we people is considered as chimpanzees only. So because of these variations from one generation to the next generation to the next generation, it is only called as evolution. That is why the variations is very, very important or necessity for the organic evolution. For example, if we take Chinese, till today we have been considered as like they will be differently looking. Is it true or not? Yes or no?
Yes.
So even I'm not criticizing, just I'm saying till now their evolution in their face is not takes place completely. It will take even many next generations to get a shape like us, or maybe they'll be having like noticeable changes like in nose or skin or whatever it is. As it is, there'll be in a mountain areas, most of the Chinese you can see they'll be having like a bumped nose in the sense of like it is not like our normal nose. Have you noticed it? They'll be always looks different than us. Is it yes or no? Because the evolution is not much faster in them, and as well as maybe it is the biological factors like surroundings and all, but definitely the variations are seen from generations to the next generation. So that is why the number of successful variations is maximized by the process of only the sexual reproduction, and it is very, very necessary for the evolution of the organism. So, including the human beings, if you see, we will notice these variations from one generation to the next generations, so many. And you can see that is the reason no two persons will be looks identical except some persons. Who is the persons? Anybody? We will say them as something called as, yes please, identical twins. So in this also some unnoticeable changes or variations will be there, but their looks different, like looks same, and their body style and body language, everything will be having some common things we can notice it. So no two human beings looks like same except these identical twins. They'll be behaves somehow a similar manner. So this is what is variations. Now let us take this accumulation of variations. Now whatever the variations are taking place in this generation, suppose our grandfather's generation's time, some variations may notice. That variations will be carried to our parents. In our parents' time, along with that variations, some other changes may notice. That variations also will be transferred to us, which is from our grandparents to parents, parents to us. So this continuing process continue to be inherited by the offsprings for the several generations. That is what we used to say, accumulation of variations. So, what is the advantage of this one? That is also we'll discuss. So, if we'll take the accumulation of variations, all of you please keep heading. Accumulation of variations. Accumulation of variations during what, guys? When it will take place? That is what my question. During when? During when, guys, accumulation, that variations takes place? During reproduction. Do you understand? Suppose if you want to transmit the variations or characters, when it will transfer? After getting the baby or only during the process of making the offsprings? During the reproduction only. That is what accumulation of variation. Whatever it is transforming, it is only takes place during the reproduction. It may be asexual or sexual. Now, the reproduction of organisms, definitely they will cause us to produce these variations. So these variations produces during this reproduction from generations, from one generation to the next generation to the next generation, definitely they will be accumulated in the organism. So whatever the changes takes place, definitely it has been noticed in that organisms. So the significance of these variations shows up only if it continues to be inherited by the offspring for several generations. Do you understand what I am saying? Suppose our grandparents' time, some variations has been takes place. Now these variations should be transferred to the parents to the present offsprings, our generation. Now our generations to the next generation to the next generation. So after several generations, several successive generations, understanding, transforming only, we can notice that variation. Do you understand, everybody? So it is not possible to notice the variations from one generation to the next generation immediately. It has to be transferred from several generations to notice that variation in the offspring. Are you understand what I am saying? Elmokel, Pradosh? For example, today you are having some variation. For example, maybe high immune power or maybe some other thing. The variation which is taking place not because of your parents. Actually, it is started from where many generations of your family, the variations has been begun. That variations is transferred from parents to the next. Finally, while coming to you, it has been become like a noticeable variation. So, if you want to see the variation, the significance of the variation, why that variation is taking place, if you want to come to know, definitely it has been inherited by the offsprings for several generations. So now let us discuss how it will be, sir. Is it possible? It is not possible to notice the changes in one generation to next generation itself. Shall we need to wait for so many generations? Yes. To notice or why that variation is happening, significance we can say. So today we have some variation which is acquired from many, like inherited from many generations before from our parents or like grandparents. That is, it has some importance. That importance or significance only we can notice it now. For example, let us take, you might be all knows the bacteria. How many of you know bacteria? Yes, please. Now, bacteria will be produced by which method, guys? Asexual or sexual reproduction? All of you.
Asexual.
Try to understand very carefully. I am putting a one statement. What is the statement I am saying? The significance of variations shows up only if it is continuous to be inherited by the offsprings for several generations. Do you understand or not? Please, I want the response. Are you clear? So, if you want to know the importance of variation, definitely the variation should be transferred to the continuous to be inherited to the many offsprings or many generations. Now, this is what the example. Let us, you all understand very clearly, bacteria which is produced by the asexual reproduction. Now, if you have been taken that, one of the offspring bacterium has a variation due to which it can tolerate a little high temperature. For example, you might be noticed recently we have been faced a biggest problem, corona. So corona is not a bacteria. What is that, guys? It is actually what?
Virus.
Virus. Basically, you might be studied in lower classes and all. Viruses cannot be survived for too low temperature or too high temperatures. It will be like always moderate temperatures is needed, or some virus or some bacteria extremely survived only when it is too low temperatures. If temperature rises, it will be leads to the death. Like that we can study. But corona specialty, what is the corona specialty? Winter season also it will spread. Summer season also it will spread. All the 365 days it has been spreaded. Is it yes or no? For example, if we take malaria, only particular season, malaria causing that season, rainy season. If we take dengue particular season. But corona is like all the 24/7. Is it yes or no? How it got that resistance? How it has been able to survive at all the temperatures? That is only called as variations. So, if we take this bacteria as it is produced by the asexual reproduction. So now, if you notice one of the offsprings, for example, let me take this is the bacteria and it has been produced by asexual reproduction. How many individuals it will produce, guys? How many individuals? 2 individuals. You know, correct, open your mouth. Bacteria will produce asexual. So one parent can produce how many offsprings? I'm asking.
2
offsprings. So definitely they are 100% they are the replicates of parent. Is it true or not?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Yes,
Now,
sir.
let us consider one of the offspring or one of this baby bacteria is, let me take for example, this parent cannot survive for high temperature. High temperature. Now, so when it is producing the baby, if unfortunately one of the offspring bacterium has variation based upon maybe the place where it is taking place, based upon the surrounding temperature or whatever it is, other factors, biological factors. So this offspring has got a variation that due to which the variation, it can tolerate a little high temperature. Do you understand, everybody? It can tolerate little higher temperature than for a parent or from other, his brother or sister, whatever, another offspring. Little bit more heat it can resist and it can survive than other one. So which will be like some mother or parent which cannot be tolerate high temperature. But this baby got the variation, or this offspring got the variation which can survive little bit more heat. Now this variation takes place at this generation. Now this will this heat resistance will keep on go on accumulating in the offsprings for the next generations. This generation will take place, next generation, like this. Continuously it will be keep on accumulating. Now you might be having some overall idea. Have you understand everybody? So coming to the successive generations, the variation which has been occurs at this is keep on changing, keep on accumulating in the successive generations of the bacteria, and this will be ultimately give rise to all the variants of the bacteria, at certain level, they will highly heat resistance. Are you clear now, Maitreyan, Pradosh, everybody? After certain successive generations, all the bacteria will become highly heat resistant, and they will be able to survive or not? I want a response from you all people. They will be able to survive even at high temperatures. Are you clear, Mr. Rudreshwar, Mukesh, Sai Karthik?
Yes, sir.
That is what will happen. See, actually variation is taking place at where? Many generations before. But when it is having a significant importance? After so many generations. That is what is happening at today's life. How the bacteria which cannot be survived, if you go 100 years before, some bacteria cannot survive more than 2 or 3 degrees Celsius. But the same bacteria now it can survive even at 20 degrees Celsius because of only one reason. What is the reason? What is the reason, guys? Accumulation of variations. That is the only reason behind this one. So now, is it good or bad? That is what my question. Yes, Mr. Sai. Yes, Mr. Kevin. Sarada. What is it good or bad? I want a response from you people. This accumulation, is it good or bad?
They're good.
Yeah. So let me take in the case of bacteria only. Now, bacteria, because of this heat resistance variation, which has been taking place many generations before, now it is helping for the present bacteria for the surviving even at high temperature. So because of this variation, their surviving is increasing or decreasing. The variations to the species increases the changes of its survival. Is it yes or no? All of you?
Yes, sir.
Yes. So that is what the accumulation of heat resistance. The accumulation of heat resistance in variation. This heat resistance only what we used to call? It is one of the what? What it is, guys? It is one of the what? Character or trait in some bacteria will help or ensures its survival even the environmental temperature rises too much due to a heat wave or some other global warming or whatever other reason. It will make them to survive even the drastic changes in the environmental condition. That is what we used to call as trait. Do you understand, everybody? So that is why if the bacteria does not have, for example, if we'll go 10 years before, when I am studying the class 10th and class 9th like you in 2010, the room temperature is 25 degrees Celsius. We used to measure. Every textbook of us used to mention 25 degrees Celsius room temperature. Now if we check the room temperature, we are considering as 30 degrees Celsius. So approximately 5 degrees variations in within 1 decade. We are noticing in the solving the numericals and all. Even room temperature we used to notice 20 degrees Celsius. That is why you can see physics and all will take 20 degrees Celsius at 20 degrees Celsius. but now 25, 25 become 30. This is only, now the bacteria at 20 degrees Celsius means around 100 years before, whatever the bacteria is present, if I bring to that bacteria directly to this one without variation, is it that bacteria will survive or it will die? That is what my question. Yes, please.
Die, sir.
It will die because drastic changes. So variation should not occur immediately. So 100 years person before, if you bring it to the present generation, directly it will lead to death only. He cannot survive because the variation should happen for a long process of time. Many generations it has been transferred. Within sudden changes will take place, it will make to vanish the entire species from the earth. But little variations will help to survive them in these changes taking place in the environment or the circumstances in their surroundings. That is what you have to remember. So from here we will continue in the next class. So always variations is important or not important? Variations are important, but little variations. More variations will take place in only one generation. It will lead to not to survive the organism. It will lead to vanish the organism from this environment. That is what you have to remember. Hope everybody understand. Are you clear, all of you? So for example, if we take this bacteria, heat resistance is only called as trait or character. So till here you continue. From here we will continue in the next class. So now to prove these variations, Mr. Scientist who came forward, that is what Mendel's experiment to transmit these characters or traits from parents to the offsprings or from offspring to the next offsprings, offspring to the next offsprings. That is what we will study. He has been explained how it is taking place, through what it is taking place, which we will discuss in the next class. Thank you, everybody. With this, I will stop the today's class. We will continue from here in the next class. Thank you.